Good morning. My name is Emily, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Alumni Director. And it is my honor to introduce today's chapel and today's award recipients to you. We have over 21,000 alumni who are out in their communities making a difference. And each year we take that list and we narrow it down and we get to select a handful of recipients that we award. This year, I'm excited to introduce you to the 2024 Alumni Award recipients. For current students, obviously your experience with Bethel is right now, but for the alumni in the room, our experience is back then. We remember being in your seats. For some of us, chapel was actually in the dining commons or even in the basement of Huffman Administration Building. So not these exact seats for all of us, but similar seats. Chapel has always been a theme throughout Bethel's history. We've walked the same sidewalks, we've studied for tests, and we've eaten in the dining commons. We have this past tense perspective that is only gained by having experienced and sat in your seats. Today, I want you to hear from alumni that have a then perspective. They've had experiences, learned lessons, failed, succeeded, and gained wisdom. After I introduce them, I've asked them to respond to the question, what do you wish you had known in college? Or, in keeping with our theme today, what do you wish you had known then? I trust that today will be encouraging as you hear from these alumni who have been professionally successful but also represent the values of Bethel. I hope that you'll receive wisdom and perspective from people that sat in your seats before you and have learned a few things along the way. Our first award is unique to this year. We don't always have someone in this category. This year we are giving out an honorary alumni award. There are some Bethel people that are so ingrained in our community that we just assume that they are alumni. And if you show up in more than 30 yearbooks, I think it's time we make you official and welcome you to the Bethel alumni community. Tim Ertl, better known as Brother Tim, served at Bethel for 30 years and is still serving even after his retirement. He came to Bethel to work in the library and ended up teaching across several disciplines, encouraging students, colleagues, and alumni. He helped with college and denominational archives and remains an active scholar. Brother Tim and Marilee Crandon were beloved professors of Block 3, and I hear that they're responsible for a lot of marriages that came out of that freshman block. Sally, his wife, retired from Bethel in 2021 after 27 years of service as an associate professor of nursing. Her expertise in nursing education and her love for the profession helped to establish the high-quality reputation of Bethel's nursing program today. I wish I could calculate the number of Bethel students they had impacted over their decades of work. Their 3 children are Bethel grads, and today we are making them officially Bethel alumni. Would you welcome Brother Tim and Sally as they share?
When I was in school, but which was once Bethel's chief rival, there were so many things I didn't know or didn't understand or simply got wrong that I really don't know where to begin. But I will mention a few. I didn't have a clue about emotions or about listening with empathy. I'm still learning how to communicate. I didn't realize how much I depended on others. I had started fending for myself in 2nd grade when I through college and 5 graduate degrees. A sense of self-sufficiency blinded me to my enormous debts to those around me, as well as to their needs. I would never have survived here at Bethel if students, colleagues, administrators, and my own family had not shown great patience with me. When still in college, I never dreamed that Bethel, Fort Wayne's #1 opponent, would become a place where my wife Sally and I would thrive, or that our 3 children, Sarah Beth, Rachel, and Matthew, would graduate from here. While still in college, I did know we should love God and our neighbor. But that is a truth I need to relearn every day. There's a great deal of sin and suffering in this world, and the sad truth is that my own sin and selfishness. God forgive me for the many times I have failed my family and my neighbor. Considering what God has done for us, we are also called to forgive others. So, love God, love your neighbor, especially your enemies. Learn to love. I still fall short. May you learn sooner and better than I did how to love well. Thank you.
I want to thank you for the vibrant worship that we just went through. I forgot how good it is, and I want to thank you for that. It blessed me. This was a hard question for me. College for me is a long, long time ago. And I'm really glad that I didn't know all that was ahead of me after college. God had plans for me that were far more exciting and fulfilling than my plans would have ever been. And I'm really glad I didn't have a preview of the hard times that came as well. I want to say, do not underestimate the value of your college-university friendships. Over our life, we have run into our college friends many times in many situations and experiences, and these shared experiences have meant a great deal to us. My nursing school classmates and I are planning our 50th reunion next year. We have a long history of shared joys, answered prayers, great memories. Hang on to the friendships you've made here. Don't underestimate the support that they provide. I wish I had realized the power of gratitude and how it enriches your life and spills over into encouraging others. Gratitude keeps our perspective and focus on God's provision and care, and I need that reminder often. Don't be afraid to be a risk taker, to grow and change after you leave here. I am not a big risk taker by nature. Tim and I met in 1970 in Fort Wayne Bible College before I went to nursing school. If you know us, you know we are very different. I suppose it was a risk to marry Tim, but here we are, 47 years later. God is good. Yes! Every time that God has nudged me or catapulted me into something new or out of my comfort zone, He has been there to strengthen me, to calm my fears, and to help me grow and change. I'm really thankful I'm not as I was back in college. I want to end with a spoiler alert that I'm sure you're all aware of already. God is faithful, and He keeps His promises. If you've trusted Him with your life, He will guide you. Thank you.
All right, our second award is the Timothy Award for Outstanding Service. This award is given for exemplary work done behind the scenes in an attitude of quiet humility. These are often hard to find because these people are humble, they're quiet, and they don't promote themselves. This year's recipient is Leah Schwartz. Before I tell you about Leah, though, can we acknowledge how little she has changed over the years? You'll see on her photo. That's kind of disheartening. That's 20 years. Leah graduated from Bethel in 2003 with a degree in psychology and sociology with a missions minor. She has served internationally most of her adult life since leaving Bethel. She joined Send International in 2007 and has served as a global worker and missionary in Ukraine and now in the country of Georgia. Over the course of her service, she has mentored orphan graduates, led an English club, started a pregnancy care ministry, and served as the Eurasia Ladies Regional Representative for SEND. When she finishes her homestay in a few months, she'll head back to Georgia to start a new team and is exploring new opportunities to serve. It's easy to hear that list of accomplishments without really understanding the sacrifice that Leah has made to impact the people within her influence. I was fortunate to visit Leah while she was serving in Ukraine and got to see firsthand the work that she was doing. She sacrifices holidays with family, the conveniences of American superstores, reliable transportation. She took me on a taxi ride that made me fear for my life, and even consistent housing at times. She's resilient, kind, hardworking, a quiet servant, and I'm grateful to also call her a friend. I think you'll agree with me that Leah is deserving of this award, and I'm very grateful to present her with the Timothy Award for Outstanding Service. Would you please congratulate and welcome Leah Schwartz?
Good morning. I just want to thank the Alumni Board for this recognition. I want to thank the Bethel faculty and staff that were part of my years here at Bethel, including the Ertles. Tim was my block leader with Marilee, Block 3. What do you wish you had known in college? Of course, there are many things, right? If only I'd known this, if only I'd known that, if only this. But then there are times you think, but that's part of growing, that's part of learning, that's part of life, that we don't know everything now. You'll know more next year than you did now. So, things you don't want to know ahead of time, or you would not move forward along that path. But one thing I was thinking about, as Emily shared, I have lived most of my adult life overseas, is that Bethel has a community of not just people from the United States. Can I have a show of hands? How many of you, your passport country is not the US? So we have some out there. I can't really see everybody right now, but you have that opportunity here. They have that opportunity coming here and getting to know all of you. But you have a wonderful opportunity to rub shoulders with people from different cultures, from different backgrounds, from different worldviews, from different views of how you can serve Jesus and love Jesus. And take those opportunities to get to know them, to expand your worldview, to expand what loving Jesus looks like in so many different places, because it's not just the US, the American church. That's sort of probably how a lot of people here have grown up. And that is one part of Christianity, but Jesus is so much bigger, and how we can love him, how other people love him is so much bigger. So take those opportunities with these students who are here. Get to know them. Get to know the community. The Michiana community is also rich with a variety of cultures, a variety of peoples, a variety of backgrounds that maybe aren't where you came from. Take those opportunities to serve, to volunteer, and I'm not even talking your political worldview. I'm not talking your denominational worldview, but just how people do life as Christians is different in so many parts of the world. And until we sort of run into something that's a little bit different than how we do Christianity, we don't even realize that. So challenge some international friends when I was here, but I wish I would have taken more advantage of that and not just assumed that, oh, well, they should be like me because they're living here, but understood them better, because that's what I've now been doing for a lot of my life, is encountering people who look at the world a little bit differently than I do. And that's not a right or wrong thing. It's often just different. And certainly there are right or wrong things, but often it's just different, and they love Jesus differently, and they're willing to sacrifice differently. So that's sort of I think what I would come away with and say, I would like to have taken advantage of more of those opportunities. So while you're here, take advantage of those. Get to know those friends. Get to know people in the community that maybe didn't grow up like you did, that their lives are a little bit different. So that's what I'm encouraging you today. Thank you.
Our third award is the Young Alumni Award and is given in recognition of a Bethel graduate from the last decade who exemplifies the values of the college in their personal and professional life. This award is particularly impressive because these graduates get to work making a difference quickly. They don't waste any time, and the same is true of our 2024 recipient, Cameron Nagel. Cameron earned a bachelor's degree in business marketing in 2022, just 2 years ago. He launched his podcast, Starting Small, in January of 2020 while he was still a Bethel student and in the height of COVID. He had a vision to share transparent startup stories with the idea that everyone starts small. Now, Starting Small has covered the stories of 220 industry-leading founders who have amassed over $40 billion in annual revenue. Cameron helped bring the Starting Small Summit event to Bethel's campus, which hosted the founder of Reebok, the founder of Stacy's Pita Chips, well-known stock trader Peter Tuchman, and founder of Sweetwater Sound, Chuck Sirac, all on Bethel's campus. After graduating in 2022, Cameron relocated to Los Angeles to launch brain wellness startup Mosh, alongside co-founders Maria Shriver and Patrick Schwarzenegger. Cameron was the third member of the founding team. I want to make sure that's sinking in. Cameron Nagel, Bethel grad, worked alongside Maria Shriver and Patrick Schwarzenegger in Elkhart, close to home, working in marketing at Chemcrest, which is a supply chain company for leading auto manufacturers such as GM, Ford, Harley-Davidson, and John Deere. What an honor to have him back in our community. Would you help me welcome our 2024 Young Alumnus of the Year, Cameron Nagel.
Well, thank you so much for this honor. Some of the main points that I want to mention is when I was a freshman coming here at Bethel. So my mindset has shifted so much. I had the mindset that I had to have everything figured out, going into sophomore year, junior year, understand what I wanted to do. But my story is kind of a testimony of the opposite of that, where I came to Bethel. Those of you who have come here, maybe you're a senior yet now, I used to play on the chapel band on drums. And I came to Bethel thinking that I was going to be a touring drummer. And my late high school years, I toured with an artist called Jamie Grace. That was my. We're all extremely scared for that vision. So, I mean, the overall theme I want to get across that question is what's something you knew, and that's you don't have to have everything figured out. My mindset has shifted so much since freshman year, and I'll actually allude to a story. So the Starting Small Summit, which we host on campus here, we're going on our 4th year now. That idea came just out of the blue. Some of the best opportunities happen when you least expect it. I was traveling, I was coming back from Turks and Caicos, and sitting on the airport floor with my laptop, and I remember seeing a live event, and they were interviewing and doing stories based off of great founders, great entrepreneurs. I was like, why can't I start that? I was on my maybe 115th interview, interviewing founders. I remember emailing Dr. Stutzman this idea. It's like, Dr. Stutzman, I've interviewed these people now. I was going into my senior year. It probably sounded like a crazy idea, but because she took that chance on me to host that event, that has opened so many doors of new opportunities, hosting that one event here at Bethel's campus. So starting out, idea of drumming, that's what I was gonna do. Coming in freshman year, has pivoted so much going into my senior year. And that night is when I got a text for my first job opportunity, as we alluded to in Los Angeles. And it's literally because Dr. Stutzman took that chance to respond to that email. We talked with the board, talked with other professors on how do we make this possible. And the founders we had for that event were really incredible and really inspiring. So that's the message I want to get across is, if you're a freshman, sophomore, senior even, if you think you have to have everything figured out, I'm still learning everything I do today. You don't. So get past that stress, take hold of opportunities, leverage your professors, all the knowledge that they have, and just look forward to the future. Everything's going to shift. You have to take those opportunities and pivot, and some of the greatest opportunities happen when you don't expect it. So that's what I want to get across. Thank you so much.
Our final award today is the Alumni of the Year Award and is given in recognition of a Bethel graduate who exemplifies the values of the college in their personal and professional life. Daryl Doden transferred to Bethel in the fall of 1969 for his final year of college. He had taken a job leading worship in the area, so it was a natural fit for him to attend Bethel as he prepared for a career in ministry. He was married to Brenda Doden, who also attended Bethel, and they have been married now for 56 years. Yeah. After graduating in 1970, Daryl began his career in ministry. A few years later, he made a career change and started Ambassador Steel Corporation in 1974 with a desire to honor God, respect others, work hard, and create value. Daryl had been a pastor to congregations, but soon became a pastor to his employees. Ambassador Steel eventually became the largest independent rebar fabricator and distributor in the United States before being sold in 2008. The largest in the United States belongs to us at Bethel. Daryl also founded Ambassador Enterprises in 2006, which is a legacy-minded private equity firm investing for the glory of God. While he grew and shepherded these businesses, Brenda became a critical support to Daryl. She dedicated her life to raising their 5 children, teaching school, and directing the church adult choir. She taught piano, played the organ at church, and sang on the ministry team. But most importantly, she supported her husband throughout his business ventures. As he and I talked about this award recently, Daryl told me, without Brenda, there is no Daryl. So we decided, to Brenda's surprise today, that this award should be given to both of them. I'm excited to hear what they wish they had known when they were at Bethel in your seats and walked these sidewalks 55 years ago. Would you help me honor and welcome Daryl and Brenda Doden?
You can tell who's in charge when she says, "I'm not speaking." I think, Sally, that I heard you say that there were those that suggested you were taking a big risk to marry Brother Tim. Did I hear that? Was that? Yeah. I feel very good company today because my wife was told the same thing. Over the years, I've watched with joy and with awe as faithful servants of God have been recognized with awards such as these today. I occasionally wondered what it would be like to be a recipient. What would it feel like to be a recipient? Thinking it would never happen because I was a marketplace guy, not a ministry person, and I was a little risky and controversial. Now I know. I'm humbled by the realization that there are many other worthy recipients whose stories may never be told in this life. Humbled because the older one becomes, the more you realize God's economy is not based upon accomplishments, triumphs, or successes, but rather demonstrated by obedient living, sacrificial love, and faithful service. It's the blessing of finding meaning and purpose and hope in Christ and investing in the lives of others that gives significance to life. Our story, your story, my story, is by no means ours alone. No one is an island. The concept of a self-made person is an illusion. It's beyond that, it's a farce. We all benefit from others, from those who have gone before and those who walk with us. Without the support of family, friends, mentors, and colleagues, none of us would be who or where we are. Our individual stories are inseparably linked with the stories of others and woven into God's tapestry of life. My heart is filled with gratitude today. I'm administrators and staff who often at great sacrifice have been a part of the Bethel story. I am grateful for those who poured into my life. Professors such as Earl Reimer, gifted in bringing the best out of anyone and everyone. John Ellis, a brilliant, caring teddy bear of a biologist. Myron Tweed, the talented musician who demanded excellence of himself and his students. And his wife, Pauline, with her incredible voice and heart of gold. Dean of Students Norm Bridges, a gifted leader who later returned to become the president of this institution. For Ray Weaver, an outstanding organist, an excellent teacher with a pastor's heart. Coach Richard Felix, who was intensely interested not only in his athletes, but in all students. And Don Yoder, who helped me get through my theology classes that were brutal. I'm grateful for my fellow students who enriched my experience. R. Staley, a personable guy with a love for Jesus. Jerry Smith, a jolly good fellow who was everyone's friend. Karen Brenneman, who brought sunshine with her wherever she went. Milt Richards, an Aussie with a ready smile and cheerful disposition. Steve Dallas, an incredibly gifted musician. And Steve Kramer, who also became a future president of this institution. I'm also grateful for the individual legacies of my fellow alums whose stories will be told throughout eternity. Youth workers, missionaries, school teachers, business people, nurses, and many other professions, most if not all, geared toward the service of others and the benefit of humankind. And I'm grateful for my wife, family, friends, and colleagues who have been for sending his son and bestowing the riches of his grace on me, a sinner. What things would I have told my younger self, as are those that preceded me on this platform? It's hard to, there's so many things. But the first thing that I would encourage you, and I would encourage myself if I was talking to me, I would have said, Daryl, life didn't begin with you, and it's not going to end with you. Don't. As one of my favorite philosophers, Hieronymus Bosch, says, everybody counts or nobody counts. If everybody doesn't count, you don't count. And if you don't count, nobody counts. Number 3, I would have said to myself, your attitude will be your greatest asset or your largest liability. I would have said to myself, try never accomplished anything. We train to make accomplishment. You can't try to lose weight, you train to lose weight. You can't try to be a good basketball player, you train to be a good basketball player. You can't try to be a good husband, you train to be a good husband. You can't try to be a good leader, you train. There's a lot of people that want to have an easy way to success. And the scripture is very clear that those that want to be at the best of something train, and they train hard. I would have said to myself, criticism, complaining, and condemnation never accomplished anything, because I was a great critic, a great complainer, and a great condemner. I would have said skeptics takes no effort to be a skeptic, but it takes a lot of effort to be a believer. Believe in the good intent of others. I would have said preach to yourself, don't listen to yourself. Preach to yourself. You give others better advice, we give others better advice than we give ourselves. Preach to yourself, don't listen to yourself. I would have said to myself, excuses are a loser's game. I would have said to myself, be a grower, not a knower. And I would have said to myself, the greatest problem you'll have in life is dealing with the guy in the mirror that you meet every morning. You get him under control, and the rest will go a whole lot better. And last, I would have said, if you really want to have the love of Jesus, you love the person more than you do the relationship. See, the relationship is the reciprocity. I give and I get. But loving the person more than you do the relationship is the sacrificial love of Jesus. For in that while we were yet sinners, had nothing to offer, Christ died for us. I'm grateful for this award. I'm grateful for the potential in this room to make a better world until God calls us home.
All right, these 5 recipients will be down in the front of the auditorium. If you are curious about them or would like to meet them, I'd welcome you to do so. And I hope I'll see you at homecoming activities this weekend. Have a good weekend.